nice introduction. In fact, I was hearing Ankit also. So Ankit, it was a wonderful, session. I even learned a lot of things, which as a practitioner I have not learned upon in last 22 years. So it was really, really good. So thanks a lot. And before I start, let me give you a very small, brief 30-second intro. So although intro has been done, but yes, I am a IT professional for more than 2 decades, having worked with multiple Fortune 500 companies. In KPMG, I'm a partner and head of digital advisory. In fact, I lead the digital, practice for India business. And before that, I used to be the partner with BCG, and then have been CIO and CTOs for organizations like PepsiCo, Reliance, HCL Tech. So pretty much into technology for throughout my life. In fact, have authored 5 different books on different technologies. So I have a close relationship with academia also, because I'm a visiting faculty for IIT Delhi and a couple of IIMs in India, even MDI also. So have some close association with academia in that sense. So pretty much a part of this family. So let me share my perspective as a practitioner, because since I work onto digital, and this is leading to a lot of innovation. So let me share my perspective, and even I'll try to share my screen also if it is visible.
Yes.
Just let me know, because just one sec. If it is, just let me know if it is visible. Is it visible?
No, sir.
No. Yeah.
No, sir.
Give me one.
The screen is not visible.
No worries. I'm just trying to.
No, not visible.
Still not
No, sir.
visible?
No, sir.
No.
No.
Now I think it would
Yes,
come
sir.
up.
Yes,
No?
sir. Yes,
Yes.
it's visible.
Okay, great.
Yes.
Great. So let me talk about digital innovation-led disruption, because see, what has happened is this. I think all of us will agree on this, that digital is really reshaping the world, and it's not only, as Ankit was highlighting, that it's not only for one industry vertical or one segment. It's not only for cities and all. It's across the value chain. So we talk about business, we talk about consumer, we talk about smart cities. Here we'll see that it's the world. So what exactly is happening? So let me demystify some of those myths. Now, if we talk about the digital innovation, all of you will agree with this that last I'll say last decade, maybe 8-10 years time, there's a lot which has happened in the name of innovation. So now it's no more like a siloed type of operations. We all work in different geography, different cities, we transact in different currency, but end of the day, what matters is this: how do we collaborate between ourselves, and how do we bring synergies for the work what we do? So if we take a perspective of the business, what we'll see is this, that any business you talk about, there are challenges, entry challenges, which we try to solve through innovation, which we try to solve through digital. And the challenges can be like, how do we really grow? How do we grow our revenue? How do we grow our EBITDA? These are the challenges. The challenges can be related to customer, like how do we onboard more and more customer? How do we become more loyal to the customer? How do we really drive personalization? That can be another challenge. Productivity is the third type of challenge, like how do we really reduce the cost? So cost is going beyond the roof. So how do we control that cost? It can be related to people. How do we source the people, skills, right operating model? So no matter whatever challenges we talk about, yes, there's a way, there's a lever to solve that through digital. And there, this is a place wherein digital as a technology comes in. So I think all of you would have agreed about this, that innovation helps a lot. So yes, innovation helps, but then it's nothing, it's a type of disruption what we do. Technology, which is, can we get on to more and more innovative technology? So the likes of the emerging tech, what Ankit was talking about. So how do we really embark onto the emerging tech or the new age technology, which will really help solve the problem? And then data is, I heard Ankit gave a very right example of the medicine, like how is it IoT really stomach? So exactly this is what the point is, like data and artificial intelligence is very important, and that can be one of the lever to solve the starting problem. And the ways of working, like the new ways of working or new technologies or change management, those things. So we can see that yes, there are different levers which really solve the business problem using technology or using emerging tech or a digital tech. Now let me throw some data, since I come from a consulting background. So there's a research which was done by MIT Sloan and World Bank, and the research tells that although everyone, be it any industry vertical or consumers, or for that matter academia also, everyone sort of tries to do digital transformation or tries to do a business transformation, but then it's not like everyone succeed in that. And the data tells that there's only 25% of the organization. If I talk about organization, primarily this data was done for Fortune 500 companies. So 25% of the organization really are the digital leaders who has really done it well. But then there are another 26% of the organization who never thought about doing it, nor they did it, nor they understand the importance of it. And 59% data which tells that yes, they understood it, they know that yes, it is important, but really have not initiated it. So here the message is very clear that there's a scope of 75% of the organization which can still embark onto the digital transformation or digital led innovation, which is nothing, which is a business transformation. Now if we do a double click of that and try to dissect the data, that what was the challenges that this 75% organization could not achieve it. And then the challenge which came out is this, that there are various challenges which are becoming hurdles in terms of the digital innovation. So the likes of the big data of the world, or the mesh network, or you have heard about the augmented reality and virtual reality. So all these are good things, all these are good emerging technologies, but the client is really not understanding, or the maturity has not gone to them so that they really leverage upon that. So these are really becoming hurdles in terms of the growth. Now the question comes is this: I spoke about business context, I spoke about the levers, and then I gave some data. Then the obvious question comes to anyone's mind is this: how do we really dissect and how do we really understand digital? Now here my point of view is let's not think that only technology is digital innovation. No, it's not. It's only one of the factors. However, there are 5 important. One which is very important is yes, technology, the social of the world, or the 3D printing, AR, VR, cloud. Yes, that's one of the factor. But then there are other things like customer experience, which matters a lot. Like how do we really bring that experience or bring that journey mapping to the customer, which is very important and a part of the digital innovation. The new business model. I think all of you agree in this era post COVID that new business model has emerged. E-commerce, which was never used to do more than 8 to 9% of the total traditional sales, now is doing 16%. So think about the model conversion. Almost all retailers, they are embarking onto an e-commerce journey. That's a new business model. In fact, let's take an example of your segment, which is academia. Academia never used to be, it was never prepared for doing online learning. But now let's see what's happening. Last 3 months or 4 months, almost all learning is there on online. So that's a new business model. And new ways of working is like, how do we really collaborate well? How do we really become more iterative? And then last but not the least, which I just gave an example, is the data. That how do you really bring synergies from the data? How do we really utilize data for different business decisioning? So all of these 5 things really contribute to digital innovation. It's not only one. Now, if I have just take a second view of the full journey, generally what happens is this, and this is very practical as a practitioner. I'll share that this gets classified in 3 segments. We call it as innovate, incubate, and commercialize. What does it means is this: let's first of all ideate and think about the idea or the journey, and then try to develop that in a small piecemeal basis, which is fail fast model, and then try to commercialize it as against the full big bang, like we thought about something and then we'll 3 years time to do it. So that model does not works in this age of emerging tech and this age of digital. So innovate, incubate, commercialize is the fast fail method, which really is reshaping the world. Now, if we really try to demystify this, what feels this, that this innovation and incubation this generally gives birth to something called as intelligent automation. And then this automation is a tech word, but end of the day, this intelligent automation is really reshaping the entire world. And all the smart cities what Ankit was talking about, or in the medtech what he was mentioning, or the one which I specified about the business, everything is blended with some sort of an automation, some top of an intelligence. So let's see and demystify it. If we try to demystify it, what we'll see is this, that yes, artificial intelligence is important, but that does not mean it's only about IA. It's primarily a mixture of artificial intelligence, data science and engineering, and robotic process automation. That means we need to embark onto a RPA first, do some data engineering, and then get onto a solutioning doing artificial intelligence. So that's how this staging has been divided. Now, if we try to deconstruct that, now in terms of deconstruction, there's a data point which tells that there are some industry vertical which really plays in the upper segment of the quadrant. Like the likes of telco, if we talk about, almost global wise, if we see 20 to 20 of the market share is being driven by telco and IT, which does really good in terms of intelligent automation. And there's BFSI was pretty good, somewhere around 70 to 20%, and their competition intensity is also very high, because the number of telcos would be less, but the number of banks and insurance is very high. That's the reason the competition intensity is high. But then there are industry vertical like healthcare and life sciences, which are in the early single digit, maybe 8%, 9%. That means there's a lot of scope for these industries to really do good. And in terms of the dollar value, if we talk about current addressable demand for this segment is almost $1 trillion. But if we extrapolate this by 2022, which is next 2 years, we are so analysts are quite hopeful and confident that this will reach as high as $10 trillion. So that's something which is evident. Now, if we talk about the same innovation and incubation, we have to understand one thing, like there's a short-term horizon and there's a long-term horizon. Now, short-term is something which means that wherein we talk about things like RPA, robotic, which means that yes, we can bring in tools, we can bring in technologies, and we can really do some automation very fast. But does that gives you a cognitive world? Answer is no, it takes time. So cognitive and artificial intelligence will only be possible when you develop the data, on top of which you write algorithms, which comes after due time. That means as and when more and more data comes, then only that cognitive behavior will happen. And in simple terms, if I have to say, starting from automation to cognitive means that you start with doing some basic repetitive automation, and then move to a level wherein system will behave like a human. So that means the system itself will take decision as good as a human takes. That's the cognitive world. Now, if I have to just next 2 minutes, if I have to tell you how does it make things better, now we have to understand three things in this. There's a what angle, there's a how angle, and the trends angle. That what are the trends which are really impacting this. What is basically like how what is like, what are we trying to do, what are we trying to capitalize, what are we trying to disrupt, how are we going to really do that? So what is okay that yes, we want to disrupt the business, but how do we do that? What is the operating model, underneath operating model, what is the methodology, and then the trends, like which all trends are really playing into this segment. So if I just dissect this, the answer of what is, there are ways, there are avenues, there are technologies which are really solve the what problem as a truly industry disruptors, like the things of cloud capabilities, which all of you will agree with that cloud is really reshaping that world, and what problem is getting sorted out. Internet of things, which again Ankit highlighted, it's good to be covered, so I don't have to deep dive into this, but Internet of Things is the another thing which is already reshaping that. Mobile economy, I think all of us cannot even live for sustain for 1 day if we don't have mobile in our hands. And then speed of the innovation, which means that the number of innovations which are happening with the speed which it is happening, it's really high. The how part is this, we have to make sure that how close are we there with the customer, which means the customer experience? How are we really thinking something very innovative, which is a different type of working? And then how are we collaborating between teams? So it can be different location, it can be different team, it can be different skills. So that's the important thing. And then there has to be a decision making autonomy which needs to come to this. So these are the things which really address the how problem. This is not something which I need to highlight. Why? Because it's very much a part and parcel of the life, where be it cloud, be it social, be it enterprise, or the IT infrastructure, all of this are really becoming trends. And we talk about things like blockchain and all, that's also a trend. So trend is clearly evident, and it's something which we use in a day-to-day life. Now I'll just end up my slides with 7 messagings, which means that when we talk about digital innovations, or for that matter business innovation, we have to really think about the 7 important things which are important. Like, how do we customize the product? Customize the product is like when you go to cafe coffee day, or when you go to Starbucks, you say that, hey, look, I want cafe mocha, but then I want less sugar, I want cream, I don't want cream, I want chocolate syrup on that. So that's a customizable products. Personalize is something, what is it which I like? It's just like an analogy of Asian Paints. One time they used to run a campaign called as Mera Wala Pink, which means that it's very personalized to someone's experience. And then it has to be really timely and relevant. Why? Because if we take 3 years time to do an innovation, it's not really an innovation. And then hassle free, which means that we really don't have to run behind that. It really needs to be very seamless in terms of doing it. It needs to be a time saving effort. Why? Because it's just like in this pandemic, or everyone is waiting for the vaccine. So it has to be in a timely manner. If it comes after 5 years, the impact has already happened. And then it has to have a richer engagement, which means that the coordination and the collaboration needs to be really high. So these are which are really reshaping the world. And with this, I'll end my slide. And any questions, if you have anything, wanna ask me. So I don't know whether I'm doing excess of the time or not, but more than happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, sir.